Hey guys, let's just get this going. Yes, I'm here. I'm Wednesday. I'm talking. I'm talking hills. I'm just getting my stuff together here live and live. Okay, so we're talking hills. Oh, one, two, three. Okay, good morning. It's Edmonton. It's okay, St. Albert, which is just outside of Edmonton. It's sunny. It's I gotta turn the volume up because you can't hear me on here. Yeah, it's sunny. It's minus 30, I think, with the wind chill today. So it's cold, but we still have to run. And we talked about that last week. We talked about doing indoors, track, treadmill. Outside is better, just saying. But also we'll talk, actually next week I'll talk about a little about the schedule and stuff. Today I want to talk about hills because for most of everybody, it's almost hill time. I think for the people that are airing at the BMO full in Vancouver, it's hill time. You're doing hills. If you're in Vancouver, there's mountains, so you don't have to look for hills. There are hills, Jericho Beach. I'm just saying, there's lots there. But hills, stairs. If you, a lot of places don't have hills, but they have stairs. If you live in Regina, good luck. There's a mountain between Regina and Saskatoon, a ski hill. So maybe if you're if you're in Regina, or yeah, if you're Regina, there's uh, Moose Jaw. There's hills there. So they're fine. But yeah, we'll talk about hills. Schedule, I'm playing around with my schedule. I told everybody not to ever do this, but I'm just playing around with mine because just, well, I'm old. And trying to figure out this being 66 thing is recovery. I can't run every day. So I've figured that out. I'm trying to. I've got my plans running Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Everybody that's been following me along knows that that's my goal. That's what I do. But and the nice thing about Sunday and Monday, if I can't run Sunday, I can always run Monday. If I can't run Monday, I can always run Sunday. So there's always that the safety zone. And I've got my long runs either Sunday or Monday, depending what happens. And hills always on Wednesdays now because my Wednesdays are free. I'm no longer a run club leader, so I got my Wednesdays back. Freedom 50, not 55, freedom 66. Anyhow, hills. Why do we do hills? And what are hills? What does it constitutes a hill? It's a grade, whatever. It doesn't have to be super high. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be huge. It can be, but it can have different grades. But a hill is a hill is a hill. I always say that. As some people say, well, there's no hills in St. Albert. Yes, there are hills, but there's other hills we've done out of convenience. It's not a huge hill. It's just a bit of an angle, a bit of a grade, and that's it. That's good enough. And why do you do hills? And why can you do hills or stairs? Can you do both? How often should you do hills? If you're on a training plan aiming at any race in May, which this thing is I'm aiming at, if you're doing Calgary, if you're doing something in Ontario, if you're doing something, there's lots of marathons in the United States over May. Um, I think I told everybody instead of doing Vancouver, I'm going to do the Vancouver Sun Run, which is a week before Vancouver, and then flying back here to do a half. It's called Run Wild here in St. Albert. It just seemed to work out better because for some reason, if you haven't booked a place in Vancouver, book it because you got not a lot time left. I've noticed on Airbnb, there's a few more places popping up that are a little less expensive, but always read the reviews when you do Airbnb because sometimes some place looks really amazing, then you read the reviews, not so much. So this never really works really well in this. It sort of looks like I'm looking at the side. But yeah, so book and have that plan. Get that out of the way because if you're flying to Vancouver, if you're flying to Edmonton or flying to Ontario or flying to wherever your goal race is, you don't want to think about that the day before or the week before. You want it booked now. I know some people wait till the last minute because there might be a deal. To if you do book and you find check and you're still sort of iffy, make sure you read the fine print because some of Lululemon's, some of Airbnb's things, it gives you some time. You can actually cancel like a month or maybe a couple of weeks beforehand. Some, if you book, you're stuck and you're paying a lot of fees for that. Anyhow, hills. So yeah, so I've got my own schedule. Yay. Yay. And it's not a running room schedule anymore. It's sort of been diverted to lots of stuff because I like running and training like a triathlete. But let's talk hills specifically. I was going to talk about hills. Hills are alive with the sound of music, but hills are important. What they do, it's not, you don't think, oh, my race has hills in it, so I'm going to do hills. My race doesn't have hills, I'm not going to do hills. That's not the reason you do hills. Hills build strength for sure. I always think of hills and stairs as doing 100 rep squats. You're building up your lungs, you're getting more energy that way. And the payback from hills is right away. A lot of times you'll do a hill, you do the warm up, run your hill repeats, run back. You'll find the run back is easier than the run to the hill. It's just that's immediate. The days after, yes, you'll be a little bit sore, but still you feel a bit stronger. So that's the point. And the trick is you don't want that shock. You don't want that to be a surprise. So that's why I say if you've got the foundation built already, you've been running for a while, make hills a regular part of your training plan. Pick one day a week and do hills. I love the way November Project. It's always Wednesdays. Sometimes they do stairs, I think on Fridays, but Wednesdays is usually hills. They say 30 minutes, do this one hill, and it's a heck of a hill. But do as many as you can in 30 minutes. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but it's part of the regular schedule week after week after week after week. Because I always question like the running and training plans. Like I ripped one out of the book. There's See, and they don't start doing hills till a little bit into the training plan. And I think one of the reasons they do that is they want to make sure you have that foundation built so you don't get injured. But if you already got that, if you've been running for an extended period of time, even for like half a year or so, you've been training, you built your body to run, start throwing hills in. You don't have to do a lot, and that's why I like the 30 minutes because running room usually builds it up, starts off with like two or three and builds it up to 10. Sometimes those 10 hills takes like an hour or more. So if you're going out for an evening, start at 6, run to the hill, run till 10 hill repeats the way some people do hill repeats. We'll talk about that too. And then they run back. That's like an hour and a half. That's not the point. It's not a time thing. It's building strength, a little bit self-confidence, but strength for sure. But the other thing hills do too, as well, because of the idea of running up hills and having to do it, make your body tries to find the easiest way to do a hill. It also helps with building up your biomechanics or solidifying your biomechanics for running. It actually trains you to run. So hills has a lot of benefits to it. Um, Hills, stairs. They both provide the same benefit. A lot of people say, well, hills and stairs aren't the same thing. Yeah, they're building strength. They're building you up. So I'm going to say maybe for the biomechanics, maybe the stairs aren't the same. And stairs are a bit of a challenge. We'll talk about stairs after I talk about hills. But stairs will give you the same bang for the buck. And if you're a place where you have nothing else but hills or nothing but stairs, do stairs. Um, Distance. How high does or how far does a hill have to be, the distance on the hill? I say about 500 meters is good. That's good. 400, if you got 400, fine. If all you got is 350, fine. But I say 500 for me is just the hills we do is about 400 or 500 meters, and that's fine. Um, Grade, don't worry about it as long as it's a hill, as long as it's uphill at some point. Because some are just crazy. Like the one we do here in Edmonton, Walterdale Hill, is pretty steep. It's a pretty hard grade, which is why I say for 30 minutes on those hills, for some people it's gonna be one hill. But you get the benefit from it. And what you'll find with different grades is it'll hit your legs differently. Same thing with stairs. Different stairs, you'll find the next day you feel sore in different parts than you did on other hills. That's a benefit too. So a lot of people do the same hill over and over and over again. That's fine. But if you want to have more fun, try different hills. And also if you want to just, if you're saying you want to do 30 minutes of hills and there's or 30 minutes of stairs and there's a set of stairs and hills close together, do a run, make sure you've got, say, 3 stairs or 3 hills or 4 hills or whatever in that route and just do that. I think that's undulating hills, which I think you get the same benefit from. But anyhow, so the one trick to doing hills and doing stairs is don't do it the way we used to do. We used to run to again a hill in St. Albert here we call it Hospital Hill. There's another one called I forget what we call it, but it's on the other side of the river. But anyhow, we would go there, we'd warm up, we'd stop, we'd put our water bottles someplace where nobody else could see them, so we could have them while we're doing our hills. Then we'd run to the top of the hill or stairs and stop, catch our breath, turn around, and then run back down. Stop, catch your breath, let our heart rate come down, and then run back up again. That's not you're I guess you're getting some benefit, but not a lot. The trick is to not stop. So the trick to doing a hill or doing stairs, first of all, you want to see at least, I'm going to see at least 1K warm up. Ours here in St. Albert usually becomes 2K, and I think that's a little crazy. You're wasting more time than you should. You want to get to the hill, but you want to be warmed up. So 1K probably good enough. When you get there, yeah, sure, okay, set up your gear. If you're if you're not using a hydration pack, you got a water bottle, just put it somewhere in the bushes nearby if there's bushes. We've done that here in St. Albert, and fortunately for some of our friends, their water bottle wasn't there when they got back. Somebody stole them, but you're usually safe. And then make it a workout. Start going. Pick your hill. Run. I like running with people sometimes on my own because sometimes I like to be in this head by myself. But run to the top of the hill, say 500 meters or 500, yeah, 500 meters or whatever, 400 to the top. Run past the crest of the hill, maybe just a few steps. Pick a spot. Turn around, come right back down. Now the trick is the hard part is going up the hill. So you want to put that effort into going up the hill. Make sure you're pumping their arms, looking at the top of the hill and making your way up. I usually, there's one person I run with. I'm not going to say, well, maybe I will. She's got a blonde ponytail. I just watch her blonde ponytail going up the hill. And I keep my head up, breathing, running, moving your arms, using your arms to drive your legs. Don't go all out, but make sure there's an effort there. When you get to the top and turn around, take your time coming back down because the trick to coming back down is the recovery part. You're not sprinting to the bottom. You can do that for a certain specific workout, but I'm going to say for just doing hill repeats, the way down is recovery. What we want to have happen is when you get to the bottom, your heart rate is back down. So you're climbing up, the effort's there. Your heart rate's close, well, maybe not your max, but it's I'm going to say on a scale of 1 to 10 is probably about a 7 or 8. You're at the top, turn around, come right back down. Don't stop. Come back down. When you get to the bottom, you should be recovered enough so that you turn around and go right back up again. And then do that for 30 minutes. Yes, if you want to make a quick pit stop at the bottom to grab your hydration, fine, but don't stop long. Just go run. And that's the trick too. When you get to the bottom, run past this bottom of the hill, turn around, go back straight back up. Just don't stop either end. As long as you do both, and do that for 30 minutes. Or if you're going to count the number of hills, do that as well. But do for the count, the amount you're going to do. Don't stop. Don't stop. Make sure it's continuous. Then when you're finished your hills, then you can stop, recovery, run back to your starting point. But don't stop. That's the fallacy we used to have. And it's fine. You got to stop and chat with your friends at the top of the hill, stop and chat with your friends at the bottom. You can run with them. The other thing with running it with other people is you're not all going to be doing the same pace. And that's another trick too. The same thing with long, slow distance runs or long, effortless distance runs. You want to run your pace. You don't want to run somebody else's. I have talked about using other people's paces for speed, but for these type of runs, it's you. So chances are you're not all going to run the same pace going up and down that hill. But it's sort of neat to run past other people and give each other a thumbs up and just say, hey, looking good. That little bit of boost gets you up that hill. Now, the difference between stairs and hills, I will say stairs are a bit more of a challenge. Still, you want the same logic. You don't want to stop at the top, stop at the top, stop at the bottom. Make sure once you start going, just go. When you're done, you're done. But there's a trick to stairs, and you want to practice this a lot if you're going to do stairs, is running up the stairs is never really much of an issue, right? It's just your head's up, you're looking at the top of the stairs, making your way up. Check a lot of stairs. There's a lot of different types of stairs, right? There's stairs that have platforms every so often, almost like, yeah. So it's a little bit flat than hills. And also a lot of stairs will have a certain grade to a certain point and a little bit less and a little bit more, right? So that's the other challenge. But the trick I always find with stairs is going down them. Be very, very careful. I'm still at the point where I have to hold the railing. I try to keep my head up. I don't look at your feet. Look where you're going. But you'll have that urge. So I think if you do the same stairs over and over again, that gets better, but that's always a challenge. So don't get hurt. But just be careful when running downstairs. Again, you're recovering on the way down the stairs, so don't go full force. Now, the other thing I think I already said this, but don't fall into the trap of saying, well, I don't care how fast I am in the race. There's no hills and there's no stairs, obviously. There used to be. New York Marathon, when they first ran it, there were stairs. But that's not the point. That's not the point. To make you stronger and make you more efficient. Big thing on efficient. Don't stop. And time versus count, I prefer time to counting. And how often should you do hills? This is another thing too. Should you do hills every week? Should you wait to do your speed training until you get closer to marathon time or race time? No, I think you can do both. There are some training plans where they talk about doing hills and speed as part of your training plan. I'm going to say that's more and more advanced because speed's a bit different. Speed training is a little different than hill training, but we can do both at the same time. I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm not sure what's happening here. Anyhow, but what was I talking about? Hills and speed. I say alternate. I like doing that. Do hills one week, or one Wednesday, following Wednesday, or whatever day you pick. Do speed training. Specific, find a 400-meter track and do speed. We'll talk about speed another time. But you can do speed on hills too. Now, this is where what I just said about not stopping and relaxing, or recovery still way down is still the same thing. I've talked about this before. One thing I like doing, first of all, can I make a confession? The only thing I hate more than treadmills is running hills. Hill repeats is not my best friend. I will do them because I know why I do them. But but it's just hills can be boring, right? Just running up and down the same hill 10 times or for 30 minutes. But if you're doing it with other people, it's sort of like a party, so it's fine. But I will find a route that has lots of hills on it and just make sure there's 30 minutes worth of hills in that run, because it's just more fun that way. But and running hills is more fun. It's it's nice having a different change in terrain is important. But the other thing you can do to make hills more fun, and what I do occasionally, is I make it a speed workout, combination hills and speed. And I've talked about this before. I call it climbing a ladder, or a pyramid. When you do weights, you build up light, heavy, heavy, heavier. Well, this is sort of thing on a hill. And what I do is I'll get to the hill, make sure it takes me about 30 or 90 seconds to get to the top of the hill. So a minute and a half to get to the top of the hill. Usually 500 meters will do that for me. And the trick is, the first time I do that hill, I will easy run 90 seconds to the top, run past the top, turn around, come back down, and I'll do that 3 times. I'll do that 90 seconds 3 times, just sort of a warm up. Then I'll do a second, do it again, but I'll do it for, say, 60 seconds. And if 60 seconds doesn't get me to the top, I'll do whatever 60 seconds get me to, but I'm going to be running a bit faster, so it should get me to the top again. So 60 seconds to the top, a little bit faster than the first 3 reps, and then back down. And the trick to doing this is going back down and recovering. So even if you have to walk to get your heart rate down, that's fine. But an easy run down, and then I'll do 45 seconds faster, 30 seconds faster yet, and then 15 seconds all out. And again, it's not always going to get me to the top. 15 seconds definitely is not going to get me to the top, no matter how fast I run. But I'll do that 15 seconds, turn around, come back. And by then I'm done almost, I don't know how many reps that works out to, but by the end of that, I'm done, recovery, run back. And it gives me speed, gives me hills, gives me a little more self-confidence, and there's a benefit to it. But you can do that. And that's a trick with training. I always think, always rethink about what you're doing, why you're doing it. The long, slow distance runs, make sure you stick to your pace. And every week you're gonna be stronger. That's the whole point too. Just run, keep for your long runs, make sure your heart rate is not absolutely relaxed, but a pace you feel like you could do forever. And if you're training for the marathon, that's kind of a good feeling, right? So it's your pace, but it's not always going to be the same pace. As you get stronger, that easy pace is going to get faster. I've talked about one friend who well, she wins races, but she'll sign up. She might be in Vancouver for the half, but she's done Vancouver where she's done like speed walking, and her speed walking is faster than my running. So that's her relaxed effort, right? So everybody's pace for relaxed is different. So yeah, if you find somebody that runs your pace, that's fine. But chances are there's gonna be lots of times where you're gonna be running on your own. I've had friends where I've done this with as a person that was instructing a clinic, and she would insist on running in front of everybody and make everybody else do her pace. That's not the point of long, slow distance or speed training. It's your pace, whatever your pace is. So yeah, as long as your Sundays or your long, slow distance runs are whatever day it happens to be, it doesn't have to be Sunday. Easy. And just realize when you do the hard work for hills or speed on, say, Wednesday, I'm just picking these days randomly, that makes you stronger. So slow, easy on your long done days, hard, hard and fast, or harder and stronger, higher heart rate on your other days when you're doing hills and speed. Tempo runs, you can throw them as well. Again, I'm only training 4 days a week. If you're training more than that, pick one day to do a tempo run. Do fartleks, which are fine. We talked about fartleks before. But yeah, that's fine. But hills are hills, speeds are speed. You can just do hills. You don't have to do speed. You don't actually have to do anything. There's no rule. You don't want to do hills, don't do hills. But there's a benefit to them. They're fun. And I find too, the other thing, I can't run the same place all the time. Every run I do, yes, I've got this different places I usually return to, but find different places to run. If you're running with a run group that runs the same route all the time, there's a group park run's fine, kind of fine. You're doing it once a week, but after a while, you do the same route week after week after week, 5K every Saturday morning. After a while, you say, okay, this is dull. So find other places to run. Find other people to run with. I do November Project. I do five or park run. I do run with my running room group every so often on Wednesday nights. Find other people to run with. It's more fun. I think I've talked about speed training. Just sort of happenstance where you run with somebody that's faster than you and you know is faster than you and it's going to be hard to keep up. There's a benefit to that. Anyhow, so that's my hill talk. That gave me some time between listening to my daughter yell at me. And yeah, next week I'll try to Wednesday morning seems to be working for me. I see there's lots of you on Facebook Live, which is really cool. Yeah, you're I think we're 12 weeks away from Vancouver, the BMO. Um, God, I tried to ask my wife if I could stay in Vancouver for 2 weeks so I could do the BMO and also the Vancouver Sun Run. I'm wearing her down. But it's I'm going to say that weekend in Vancouver for the BMO is expensive. Sooner you book, the better. Look at Airbnb and stuff and book that. And if you're going with a group, share rooms. That makes it a little less expensive too. Anyhow, so we'll talk next week. I'm back to watching the news and yelling at Donald Trump. And